Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Everything is Bad new Fangled Motion Picture Show.
Welcome one and all to what is now the newest episode of the Newfangled Motion Picture Show. Today, I'm Niall.
And I'm Nolan.
And today we'll be doing a review of the blockbuster hit of the year, hopefully until Solo comes out.
Avengers Infinity War.
Yep. We'll be doing a spoiler-free review because, man, oh man, are there some spoilers for this movie. But we'll be doing a spoiler-free review. And then we'll be giving you a warning saying, hey, from here forward are spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, don't watch past that point. Because they're big spoilers. They're big damn spoilers.
Yeah.
But we'll be warning you that it's happening, so you have no excuses. Don't be mad at us. We warned you. We'll be going further in depth into the movie review.
There's quite a bit to discuss.
There's a lot to discuss. This is going to be kind of a long one, guys.
So buckle up.
I'm going to spoil one thing right now, and that there's no Thanos-Copter in this movie.
I know, right? I was so bummed. No Thanos-Copter.
You got to splash a Thanos-Copter.
I got to show a picture of a Thanos-Copter.
Because
that's what Thanos used to tool around in back in Silver Age.
Because, you know, a guy who has a gauntlet that can shape all reality around him needs a helicopter to get around.
Helicopter with his name on it.
Yeah. It was like, you know that like Korean War helicopter from the opening of MASH?
Yeah.
It was one of those.
Yeah. It said Thanos down the tail.
Yeah. But anyway.
So this actually was in the comic books back in the day.
Yeah, we're not making this shit up.
No. Did not make it into the movie.
It did not make it into the movie. Thank God.
I would have totally like slipped like a little like toy of it or something somewhere throughout the movie.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Anyway, so this movie, I was worried going into it because there's a lot of characters, and they're all like big characters, right? And so most
they have a lot of characters.
If not every other superhero movie with like too many characters or these huge casts, they suffer. They're just muddled messes.
I mean, DC couldn't pull off Justice League with like 5 people.
Right, but this has 50 people or something, right?
It's a lot.
It's a lot of characters.
And I mean, not even if you just get rid of all the like peripheral characters, you still got like Cap and Spidey and Iron Man and
there's like 5 of the Guardians.
5 of the Guardians that are all.
There's 5 of them, right?
Well, there's 6 now, but Mantis doesn't really do a whole lot.
She's in it though.
She's in it. And then Black Panther, you know, Thor, like already like of just like people who are legitimately like main character people. Mm-hmm. You're already well above what they did with Justice League.
Right. So anyway, it occurred to me though why this worked and why it didn't work for the Justice League. There have been 18 movies
to build characters
on.
There's no character development in this movie.
Not of any heroes.
Right, not of any heroes.
Thanos, however, this is Thanos' movie. The movie follows Thanos. The heroes, everything they do is just in reaction to Thanos.
Yeah.
And Thanos is almost the central character here.
Yeah.
It's his story. It fleshes out why he's doing what he's doing. It's his story. It focuses on him. There's a character arc for Thanos throughout the movie.
Mm-hmm. He develops in character.
He's you know the central to the movie. I mean he's part antagonist, part MacGuffin, part central character.
Yep.
And you know he gets all the character development. None of the heroes get any or very little, if any, character development
because they don't need it.
They don't need it. There's been 18 movies building up these characters, and we all know these characters. So when something happens to somebody's injured or dies or whatever, we care about them. Whereas in, you know, like for instance, like in Black Hawk Down,
yeah,
I might get some crap for this, but I didn't care when anyone died.
Yeah,
I didn't even know who was dying half the time because they're all dressed exactly the same because they're all wearing uniforms with helmets.
And there's no character development.
Character development in the movie.
I mean, I care because I get angry at Bill Clinton when I watch that movie.
All right, well that's
That's
neither here nor there.
That's completely different reasoning, though. That's nothing to do with the movie itself.
No. So whereas in this, something happens to somebody, I still care, even though they haven't developed anyone. But like I said, I've had other movies to get to know these characters. So that's why this worked. And where Justice League failed is there was a Superman movie that was alright. There was this Batman v Superman movie, which is not so good. And you hardly got really any development there. And then there was Wonder Woman,
which was pretty good.
And Wonder Woman had the most development, I think, out of all of the characters in Justice League. And then we had two characters that had no development because they were three characters introduced in that movie. There's 6 Justice League members, right?
Well, no. Well, normally, but no, they just had 5 because there was Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and
Aquaman and Cyborg.
Oh, yeah.
You forget about them because there was no development.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, they jumped the gun. I'm just saying they jumped the gun on the team up movie.
Momoa.
They jumped the gun on the team up movie.
They definitely did.
So that's where this.
Also, like to point out, they've had 3 other team up movies already. Like 4 other team up movies already, because there's the 2 Avengers movies, and then Winter Soldier and Civil War are both basically team up movies. Like they're both basically just other Avengers movies.
Right. Well, let's see. Captain America and Black Widow teamed up in Winter Soldier, and then there was the Winter Soldier. Civil War was a big team up movie.
Civil War, there was no reason to make that Captain America Civil War. It should have just been Avengers Civil War, because that's what it was.
I agree.
It was not a Captain America movie. It was an Avengers movie.
I agree. It was an Avengers movie, not a Captain America movie. And then you had Thor Ragnarok, which was a Thor and Hulk team up movie.
Yeah. So like they've done team up movies already.
Right.
But just nothing on this scale.
No. And so yeah, I think they really did it right. And so between the Russo brothers, which have directed some of the best Marvel movies, and then the screenwriters, the screenwriting team of Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, they've written all of the Marvel movies that the Russos have directed.
Yeah.
So, like, the 4 of them together can really pull off a superhero movie.
Oh, yeah.
And this was... So, yeah, this really ran the risk of becoming a muddled mess, but they did it right. They were able to weave their magic and make a pretty good movie.
Yep. And it's a very good movie. I'll get more into it in the spoilers, but I really only had like 2 complaints about the movie.
Yeah.
One thing is just, I want to see more of one of my favorite characters, but something's got to give somewhere,
I'm curious if they brought in Taika Waititi and James Gunn to advise at all on the script because they pulled off the Guardians of the Galaxy segments absolutely perfect.
Oh yeah.
And then Thor, as he's been established in Thor Ragnarok, because they almost remade the character for Thor Ragnarok, he's just perfect from that. Like, he just feels like it was just an extension of both of those movies. Like, the Thor segments were just extensions of Thor Ragnarok, and the Guardians of the Galaxy segments were just extensions of those movies.
Yep.
And one thing I want to, like, Thor is great. From the first 2 Thor movies, like, Thor always had like this arrogance about him, this bravado, and it was all just based on him being like arrogant. Where starting in Thor Ragnarok, they made him a lot closer to the actual myths. If you're familiar with the myths at all, you would know that Thor has this bravado, but it's based around more that he's too stupid to know when something is dangerous.
Yeah.
And that's how Thor's written now.
Yeah. And it's, because Thor was the most human of all the Norse gods, and that like comes out. He has a lot of flaws, which all revolve around him is arrogant, like his bravado and his arrogance. But again, not because of like, not arrogance, but like I don't know, but like it all revolved around like, yeah, him just not really comprehending when he was outclassed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like he could not conceive of being outclassed.
Right, and it's not arrogant. It doesn't come from a point of arrogance. It comes from a point of him just not being that bright.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that comes down to this. So yeah, I'm just curious if either the writers and directors are so good that they can mimic these other movies, or if those directors are brought in any sort of any capacity to like help or anything. I don't know, but I'd be curious to find out.
Yeah, all of the banter was pulled off so very well. There's some really truly funny moments of dialogue.
Yeah, this is a very dark, like,
yeah,
somber, like there's a lot of dark stuff.
We were talking about this on the way out of the theater last night, is that this is an example of how to make a superhero movie that addresses very serious consequences in a way that's still, like, entertaining.
Yeah, and it's still fun.
Because watching Justice League is just like, oh, we get it. Get over yourselves. Yeah. You know? And then this movie...
Well, it reminds me... They're, like, in the new Deadpool trailer, when Deadpool has this line like, "Oh wow, you're dark. Are you sure on a DC character?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
He also calls Cable Thanos at one point, which is pretty funny. Yeah. Because
right, because they're both Josh Brolin.
Both Josh Brolin.
Who was fantastic in this.
Yeah, everyone's giving a lot of crap to, like... Everyone's worried about Thanos because, his outfit's very plain compared to what it is in the comics. And, he looks kind of different as a result. And so people were worried about that, but Thanos was a great villain in this. Like,
yeah.
Like you were saying earlier, there's a lot of character development with him. Josh Brolin does a great job. He's got this very, like, deep, powerful sounding voice.
Yeah. And you actually feel for him. Like, at some points, there's some emotion there, and you're like... And once he, explains... I mean, his reasoning is still insane, but there's a logic to it.
Yeah.
So it's not just, like, evil for evil's sake.
Which was Steppenwolf.
Right. And whereas Thanos, like all the best villains in the world, doesn't see himself as a villain.
Yeah.
He thinks he's doing good, and so it's... Yeah, it was a lot... The movie's better than it has any right to be, almost.
Yeah, so the problem that we generally have with the current run of DC movies, other than Wonder Woman's the only one that didn't do this, is just like everything is so freaking serious. And it gets tiring.
Yeah.
Like you're exhausted.
Well, there's a reason why
by the end of the movie.
There's a term comic relief.
Yeah.
You need that to break the tension. It's instead of just constant ramping up of tension, you need comic relief to like let yourself and like release your tension.
Yeah, and especially in a superhero movie, like get over yourself, Warner Brothers. You're not making Superman into Citizen Kane here.
It's still guys in tights with capes and stuff. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Although there's like no capes in there's one cape. There's one cape in Marvel.
Vision's the
Two
only
capes in Marvel. Because there's also Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. Yeah, they're the only cape-wearing heroes I can really think of from Marvel. Marvel never really did the cape things as much.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I mean, this movie has the correct amount of character development for everyone, which is to say, none for all of the established characters.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
It focuses all the character development on Thanos, which makes him a great villain. As is tradition, all the sequences with Doctor Strange doing magic, Doctor Strange stuff, fantastic visual effects.
Yeah.
Really, like, stunning, weird, trippy stuff. And it like, Doctor Strange doing those sort of visuals and pulling that off is really a feat unto itself, just because, I mean, if you ever read the comics, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
and like they play around with like the order of events on a page.
Yeah,
And stuff, and some
artists are better than others at it. They've had some change up in artists lately. They've had a few different ones, but
I mean, some of them felt a lot like Sandman Overture at some points.
Yeah,
which was also like super trippy and weird like that. So the fact that they're able to pull that off with Doctor Strange in a movie format is very impressive.
There was
that they can do that.
one Doctor Strange comic that was done like a choose your own adventure, where you're like Doctor Strange is trying to figure out like how he needs to save different people, and like you make the pick and you jump around the comic, the different pages.
Yeah, which
was really interesting how they did it, and you wind up like there's actually a certain order you have to like go back and read them all in.
Right. There was something kind of similar in an Adventure Time comic once too.
I kind of remember that,
where they played around with the timing of things.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like visual effects in the whole movie are stunning. I don't think there was a single visual effect shot that like took you out of it.
Can't think of one offhand. But yeah, and this is a seriously CG heavy movie because obviously because
they're like on all these alien planets,
right?
And like sentient floating capes and shooting blasts out of hands and web slinging
and alien monsters and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, this is there's probably you might be able to count the number of shots that didn't have any CG in them on your hands.
It's like basically once the aliens show up, that's it. Like there's like the scene like right at the beginning where like Tony and Pepper are walking through a park and like, all right, that's probably not CG.
Yeah.
But everything after that scene,
right?
It's like,
you have so many characters that are 100% CG all the time between Groot and Rocket and Vision.
Well, Vision.
Well, maybe not. Vision might be. He's probably makeup with CG enhancements.
Yeah, that's what he is.
But still, it's CG on every shot of Vision.
Yeah,
except when he's, in his disguise as a human.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just so much CG. So there was so much opportunity for it to take you out,
and it didn't.
It didn't.
Every shot was well done. Like, unlike that Venom trailer we saw at the beginning before the movie, there's some shots in that.
But trailer shots aren't necessarily finished shots,
right? I understand that.
So you don't know until the movie is actually out whether that is how it's going to wind up. Because they'll use shots when they're deemed good enough, but not necessarily finished.
Right, for the trailer, especially this far out.
Yeah.
Venom's next year, I think, right?
I think so. I don't know.
But anyway, so yeah, the visual effects are really great. Obviously, I don't think this is spoiling anything. I don't consider mentioning anything that's shown in a trailer to be spoiling. I'm warning you now. If you're one of those people that's like, I've avoided all the trailers because I want to be completely taken by surprise, you're an idiot.
Not me. I watch trailers like a dozen times as soon as they come out.
Yeah.
Like a trailer. All right, I saw that trailer. I'm going to watch that trailer again.
Yeah. Like, we're like...
If it's a movie, I'm hyped
about. Oh my gosh, did you see that new Solo trailer?
You know how many times I've watched Solo trailers?
It's like the one ad I don't skip on YouTube.
Yeah, pretty much.
But anyway, so there's a big fight scene at the end in Wakanda. Like, that's established. We know that's not a spoiler. It's in all the trailers. And, it's just so cool. Seeing all the heroes, like, War Machine and Falcon flying around shooting things, and Black Widow's like doing, kung fu secret agent fighting, and all the Wakandan warriors with their like laser spears and like Gungan shield things.
Yeah, they have these like energy shield things.
Yeah, but all that was really cool.
Yeah.
I want to mention everyone who's in the fight because there was a spoiler in that,
right? By
mentioning a few people who are in that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one character that I was not in any way actor I was not in any way expecting in this movie because they kept it a secret. And I don't want to say who it is.
Yeah, but everyone in the theater was surprised.
Everyone in the theater was like, "Oh!"
Yeah,
yeah. It was really well done. Well, I'll mention it in the spoilers part.
yeah, it was pretty great. But everyone was like,
but it's
like
kinda,
the whole. You could just hear the whole theater audibly gasp.
Yeah. Because the way they handled him was funny too. But yeah, so I'll mention that more in the spoiler section. But like, there was some things that, oh man, well there's actually two. There's one actor who's new to the series that was like, and then there's another character who's not new to the series, but was. I leaned over to Nolan when they showed the character, and I was like, I'm gonna be honest, was not expecting that in the slightest.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about, where everyone gasped. Everyone's like, and people in the back were like, no way! Yeah,
there was someone in the back of the theater was shouting, no fucking way! So, but yeah, so it's, we'll talk about that more in the spoiler section. That one is a big damn spoiler, though.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then, there's just some stuff that, like, builds up and finally pays off in the movie that's just, like, very satisfying to see some of the stuff happen during the fights. It's just like, yes!
Yep.
My only real complaints about the movie is there's one thing that just, like, I thought of while I was watching it. I was like, why don't they just do this thing? And I'll mention it in the spoiler section.
Yeah.
And then I wanted more Cap in the movie.
Yeah, Captain America has always been my favorite of the movie Avengers.
Yeah.
I never really read him as a comic book, because as a comic book character, he's not as interesting as the movie character.
Right. Well, and I mean, most of our lives, he wasn't even like Steve Rogers wasn't even Captain America anyway.
That's true.
It was Bucky or it was Falcon.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Which I do not see them making Bucky or Falcon Captain America in the movie universe. That would just be like, I think, too much for most moviegoers to handle, like the average people to handle.
Yeah.
They do shit like that all the time in the comics, though. So comic readers are like, "Oh, there's no
like in the comics, at one point, T'Challa's sister becomes Black Panther.
Wow.
For a time, yeah.
All right. Cool.
So I mean, that's
probably not going to happen. But...
Yeah, but they do that sort of stuff with all the the characters. They shift them around. You know how many different Spider-Mans there's been?
Well, there's that Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse or whatever coming out.
Yeah.
That animated movie. That looks really cool. Just the art style looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see that.
But anyway, yeah, I think there's something else I want to mention before we get to the spoiler-free or the spoiler portion.
It just felt like to me, it just felt like, hey, here's these characters doing all this important shit, and Cap's here to punch dudes.
Yeah.
It just, since Captain America's been such a big, important character, it just kind of felt like they could have done more with him, in my opinion. But
yeah.
That's just me. Also, I don't like him with the beard.
He needs to cut his hair and shave that beard off.
Yeah, he's got to have his boyish good looks.
His all-American,
good old
military
boy.
Man,
Yeah, like...
But
the kind of guy that, like, takes his dame to the sock hop when he was in high school.
His best girl.
His best girl, yeah. Takes his best girl to the sock hop in high school, right?
Yeah. Well, he even called in, which one was it? It was in Winter Soldier when he goes to see her in the hospital. He calls her his best girl.
Oh, yeah.
And,
yeah, that was sweet. But anyway.
Yeah, Winter Soldier is like probably on most days it's my favorite of the Marvel movies.
The Thor Ragnarok, though.
Thor Ragnarok was amazing. Yeah, some days it's Thor Ragnarok. Some days it's Thor Ragnarok, but on most days it's Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
I think technically, like, it's just
it's technically a better movie.
Yeah,
it's better storytelling.
And I think Captain America really comes into his own in that one.
Yeah. But yeah, just like you have these movies where like Cap is such a big important character, and then he's just like he's there, but he just doesn't really do anything. That's really the only, like, story wise. That's the only complaint I have. And I mean,
he's big in the fight at the end, but everyone's in the fight at the end, so he doesn't get like any real focus because they're spreading it around to different to everyone sort of evenly. I remember I was gonna say, so this movie, we know it's the first Infinity War, but it's not like a cliffhanger. It's like a self-contained movie. It has a beginning, middle, and end, and it's not like, you know, Empire Strikes Back, where you're like, oh well,
it's kind of like Empire Strikes Back.
Well, I know it, but it's like, you know, like they could end it there. We know it doesn't, but they could. Whereas Empire Strikes Back, you couldn't end it there.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, and then the post-credit scene was whatever.
Well, it sets up the next.
Yeah,
one of the next Marvel movies.
But it's just like,
It doesn't set up. It
wasn't a particularly great post-credit scene.
Well, I mean, it just confirmed what we already knew,
right?
And that one of the next movies is before Infinity War 2.
Yeah, it wasn't like,
or whatever they're gonna call it,
post-credit scene of Iron Man, where, you know, it like comes in, it sets up the event, the MCU. Like, that's a big important scene. Mm-hmm. People who know who Nick Fury is at that point, we're like, oh my gosh, like that had to blow some minds of some comic book nerds.
Yeah.
Who like immediately took to the internet, furiously typing on their mechanical keyboards, and then like everyone else is like,
this was 10 years ago.
Everyone else is like, well, I mean, everyone's using all the nerds use mechanical keyboards now. Nolan, you get better response time when you're playing that Overwatch or PUBG. But you know, and everyone's like, who the hell is Nick Fury? Why is this important?
And if you're some people are like, why is he black? Like, well, he's been
black my whole life, so I mean, yes, Hasselhoff was once Nick Fury. Right. I get that. But let's be honest, Sam Jackson is a better Nick Fury than Hasselhoff ever was.
Well, in the comics, like in the Ultimate Comics, they actually drew him to look like Sam Jackson. And then
that was
they had brought in
1616? Universe 1616?
I don't even know. No, I don't think
there was 616 was the main one.
Yeah, okay.
I think 1616 was the
maybe.
Was
so
Ultimate.
In 616 they made him black too eventually because they made him like the original Nick Fury's son.
Right.
And so he's like half black. Anyway. So I think ready to get into the spoiler section.
Anything
else? I mean, go see this. If you're listening, you're probably gonna go see it anyway. But I recommend. This is one of the better. Marvel movies.
I'm really glad that they're making full use of Tom Holland.
Oh yeah,
because everything to do with Spider-Man in this movie was fantastic.
Oh yeah,
like Spider-Man was great, and he has like he. One thing I will say that they could do about writing Spider-Man a little better is give him a little more with the campy one-liners. Because some of the one-liners he had, I'm like, that was too good.
Well, Spider-Man has some gems every once in a while.
Yeah, but there were some, like, there were too many that were like, that was good.
Well,
he needs to have more that just sort of like are awkward and like cringy, because that's kind of how Spider-Man was.
Yeah, he needs to. Yeah, I agree. Well, like in the Spider-Man Deadpool comic, people are pointing out like, you know, like there's like occurs to people now that like in these comics, these issues where Spider-Man and Deadpool are like around each other a lot. People are like, well, Spider-Man's just as annoying as Deadpool, but his jokes are clean. Like characters are pointing that out. Like I never realized that Spider-Man talks as much as Deadpool.
Yeah, he's just not crass.
Right.
Yeah. So I think about all I have to say. That's not spoilerful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fantastic movie. Go see it.
Yep.
I mean, arguably the majority of people have seen it by the time this gets posted anyway. Like,
yeah.
I don't know anyone who is seeing it who hasn't seen it by tonight, basically. Everyone I know, except maybe one person and his wife.
Yeah.
But we'll fix that. We'll drag him out next weekend, maybe, or something. But anyway, so yeah, go see this movie. It's fantastic. It is the best Avengers movie, hands down.
Oh, I agree.
Arguably the best, like, just from a technical, like, what, is technically considered to be good movie making, good storytelling in cinema, it is arguably the best Marvel movie.
Yeah, maybe.
It's kind of weird in that you do have to take into account that, like, it's not a self-contained story.
Well, here's the thing also. If this were, for whatever reason, like, your first Marvel movie, like, like, hey, I don't know, hey, Grandma, sit down and watch this movie with me. It's, you can't watch this movie without having watched the previous movies.
Yeah.
Because it would be a jumbled, muddled mess.
Mm-hmm.
You would have no idea what's going on with anything.
Yeah, but taking into account the fact that they're just assuming you've seen all or the majority of the previous Marvel movies, it is an excellent movie, excellent storytelling. It can't stand by itself as a result, but it is, assuming you've seen all the Marvel movies leading up to this point, it is arguably the technically best Marvel movie.
Right.
I mean, Thor Ragnarok was fantastic. Storytelling's kind of... I mean, the movie's funny.
Yeah, the movie makes up for a lot of it. It's like, I saw someone online saying, like, it was someone online said, like when they pitched the movie, like, well, we don't have a plot, but we're gonna have this funny rock guy that's just gonna make up for that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it was. Like, it was just, like, the movie is so entertaining, you don't really care about plot. Not that it was a bad plot, even, really, but there's some plot holes, and there's some
stuff where it was like, hey, you remember these characters? Snap my fingers and they're dead. Like, blinked and you missed them,
Yeah.
So, like, some of that's kind of like, really? That's how they're going to handle this in the plot? But, yeah, the movie's highly entertaining, but just from, like, a technical storytelling, like, what is considered to be good movie making.
Right.
Avengers is probably the best, or Infinity War is probably the best one yet.
So, all right. So anyway,
yeah. So
let's get into.
Got that over with. From henceforth, Darby spoilers. Seriously, guys, spoilers, like with a capital S. Like, cannot stress this enough, because there are some serious, like, Darth Vader is Luke's father level spoilers.
Yeah. I haven't seen that movie yet.
You shut your mouth. There's, like, Darth Vader is Luke's father. Eris dies halfway through the game level spoilers coming up. The guy was a ghost the whole time stuff. Like, that level, guys. Alright, so Snape kills Dumbledore. Did it get all the big ones?
I think
so. From the last couple generations? Alright.
Yeah.
That, like, seriously. You've been warned. Did you know Dan Abnett got a writing credit on this movie? The guy who writes a lot of the 40K books. Yeah, he writes novels. Marvel novels.
Okay.
And so he got a writing credit because it's, like, based on characters written by, or something like that.
Marvel novel. Well, the only Jim Butcher novel I haven't read was a Marvel novel. He wrote a Spider-Man novel.
Oh, yeah?
I've not read that.
All right. Well,
it's the only Jim Butcher novel I haven't read.
I wasn't sure if, like, that was... It's not really a spoiler, I guess, but I just throw that out there. Someone pointed that out on one of the Facebook groups I'm on.
All right.
I thought you would find that interesting, and maybe some of the listeners know who Dan Abnett is, because if you like 40K, he's a very prolific writer in that universe.
Right.
So, but anyway, so let's just go right out the gate with the big one, right?
Huh.
Red Skull.
Red Skull.
What the hell, man?
No clue at all. Like Thanos and Gamora, like Thanos drags Gamora off to get the Soul Stone, and they show up on this planet, and there's this Dementor floating around,
or Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come,
or a Ring Wraith. He kind of floats around like a Dementor, though.
Yeah. Well, I think we made jokes about all three of them before they revealed who it was.
Right, and then so he like floats down, and he's like this guardian of the Soul Stone,
and
he's
like really like dark monologue about how it's his curse to know all knowledge about all who come to this place.
Yeah, and then he pulls back his hood, and it's Red Skull.
Yeah.
That's what everyone was like.
Yeah.
Like, we had no clue.
Yeah. Did not see that coming in the slightest. Which is, it's kind of weird because it didn't have to be Red Skull. There's no reason for it to be Red Skull.
Yeah, but he got sucked into the Tesseract.
Right.
Right.
So I think they were just sort of like...
We have an excuse to make it Red Skull?
Yeah, they were like, this will blow people's minds.
Right.
And
it's just been a random character. It could have been, you know, it could have been a celestial being or something.
Or one of the there's like the elders, right? Were the first ones? Like the ego level beings, right?
Yeah, but if you're talking about like one of the siblings of the Collector,
right.
those are celestial beings.
Those are the celestials. Yeah, it could have been a celestial. And it didn't have to be anything. It could have just been this like ominous spirit floating there, really. It just didn't matter.
Right.
But it was Red Skull.
It was Red Skull. What?
Yeah, so that was a serious, like, shocking moment.
I think they from what I recall, they kind of changed him, so he's like more skull-like.
Yeah, it looked like
they did. I don't know.
Looked like they did more than just like emphasize his cheekbones and digitally remove his nose.
Yeah,
which is what he was in
Captain America.
Which was really cool about that is like, it's been how many movies since Captain America came out?
Like,
the first Avenger was the second after they. Well, I mean, there's 2 Hulk movies that are technically.
Yeah, but those aren't counted in the.
Yeah, they don't count it because Iron Man was when they established that they were doing this, so that's considered the first. So it was the second. Was First Avenger the second?
I don't know. Did Thor come out before or after Captain America?
Ooh, I don't remember.
Anyway, but there's been like 15 movies or so.
Yeah.
Since then. So yeah, it's been a while.
So yeah, and it's like since then they haven't even mentioned Red Skull.
Right.
And then it's like boom, Red Skull.
The other
like, whoa.
The other thing that was the other character that we're like, hey, more like not like a gasp, but we're like, hey, was Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
As a dwarf who's like 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
Like Thor.
Like we mean like a fantasy dwarf, like works the forges.
Like I was saying, like the pitch would have been like, "Hey, Peter, got a role for you in the new Marvel movie. You're playing a dwarf." He's like, "I always play a dwarf." We're like, no, but you're a 10-foot tall dwarf.
Yeah.
Like, cause like Thor goes to replace Mjolnir.
Right. So
he goes to the dwarven forge,
which was cool because in the legends, in the myths, the dwarves made all the weapons. Mm-hmm. They made Gungnir and Mjolnir. They made all the like trinkets and weapons used by the gods. Most of which were Loki saying, "Sorry, I messed with you. Have a cool sword."
See, the dwarves were never described. They were the Svartalfs.
No, the Svartalfs were the Dark Elves.
Right, but those are the dwarves also.
Oh, okay.
And so they're never given a description in any of the legends.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until Tolkien like decided this is what a dwarf looks like.
Yeah.
You know, so the fact that he's like, you took like a fantasy dwarf and made him 10 feet tall.
Yeah, Thor came out before Captain America, by the way, by a few months.
Yeah, I kind of thought that.
So, yeah, so it's been since 2011 since Red Skull was in it. It was mentioned. Right. So, but anyway, yeah, so he goes to the dwarves. There's only There's only the one left, and it's Peter Dinklage.
And his forge is a neutron star or something.
Well, the neutron star fuels the forge.
Yeah. Like,
they harness the fire from the star to heat the forge. Which means whatever they're melting, man, is some serious metal.
Right. Well, there's this great joke that kind of like goes back to Thor being like too dumb to realize something's dangerous. When he needs to hold the door to the forge open because the mechanism's broken, so that the energy from the star can pass through, and Peter Dinklage's like, He's like, that will kill you. And he's like, only if it kills me. Or he's like, you're gonna die. He's like, only if it kills me. Yeah, that's what dying
he's
means.
like, that's suicidal or something. He says that's suicidal or something, or
right. But Thor's like, only if it kills me. And
yeah, he's like,
Peter Dinklage is like,
he like has this look on his face, like
that's what dying means.
yeah, yeah. So they cast he cast the head for his new axe, Stormbreaker.
Yeah, well, it's got a hammer on one side and an axe blade on the other. So it can still be a hammer if he wants.
Well, yeah, it's like my hatchet that I use the backside of to like drive stakes in for my tent.
And and Groot generously donates an arm to be the
handle.
The handle.
How dare you, IMDb, give Captain America the first Avenger first Avenger?
Avenger?
I don't know why it came out that way. How dare you give Captain America the first Avenger an average rating of 6.9 out of 10? Anyway, yeah, so like it's mentioned on the way there that this weapon he's going to retrieve is, legend says it's so powerful, like it could even open a Bifrost from itself.
Yeah.
And they use that to get from there to the fight
in
Wakanda. And it's so freaking cool when he shows up, and it's so satisfying to see him just like charge his axe up and do a ground pound with it, and just
like lightning flying everywhere,
flies out and kills all these dudes, and he's flinging it around.
Bruce
like,
Banner's all like, "Yeah, now you're gonna die."
Yeah, he like Thor shows up, and he's just like, Bruce Banner's like, "Yeah, now you're gonna die."
And,
yeah, but it was just like, it really paid off, and it just like felt good to watch it. Yeah. It was so cool.
So one thing, I'm not gonna say that this is a problem I have with the movie, because it didn't ruin the movie by any means, and saying it would, I think, make me a little hypocritical because based on my opinions of The Last Jedi. But basically everything of consequence that happens in Thor Ragnarok gets removed in this movie.
Yeah, they get him a new eye back.
He gets a new eye right away. He gets Mjolnir replaced. He went through all this trouble of saving all the Asgardians, and they're all killed.
Yeah.
And
it's just like
nothing of consequence is like stuck.
Yeah.
From Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah. Like, I feel like this movie was written, and then like it was like mostly written, and then like Feige or the Russo brothers get the script from Taika Waititi, and they're like, all right, got to make a couple changes here. All right.
Well, the eye thing, that doesn't matter. They could have left the eye alone. I think it was just probably for Chris Hemsworth's comfort, just so he didn't have to have an eye patch.
Yeah.
And so they just wrote a means for him to replace his eye. Like Rocket gives him this prosthetic eye, basically. And so, I think that's the reason why they did that with the eye. But yeah. So some of the best jokes in there were like revolved around Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Or like Thor can understand Groot, and Rocket's all like, "Well, you speak Groot?" It's like, "Oh yeah, I learned it in Asgard. It was an elective."
Yeah. Like that sounds like that felt like an ad-libbed comment to me. I feel like that was an ad-lib
but
thing.
because the movie opens with because you remember from one of the post-credit scenes from Thor Ragnarok, Thanos' ship shows up in front of the ship that's carrying all the Asgardians. So the movie opens with Thanos destroying the ship, basically,
Yep.
And because he's drawn to the Tesseract, which Loki has.
Yep, stole it from the vault.
Right.
When he was going in to unleash Tyr?
Ragnarok.
Right. Surtur, yeah, that's right. It's been a long time since I took mythology class.
Anyway.
I was in high school.
Well, I just recently listened to Neil Gaiman's
his
Norse mythology.
Yep.
Anyway, where was I going with this?
Yeah, so...
Oh, yeah, so Thor is, like, left drifting through space, right?
Yep.
And the Guardians are, like... They're coming along because they get a distress signal. and they crash right into Thor, and Rocket's like, turn on the wipers, get it off.
Yeah.
There's this dead body, then he opens his eye, right, and they're all freaking out. So they bring him aboard, he's lying there, it's like, and Quill's like, how did this dude survive in space? And Drax says, that is not a dude. You are a dude. That is a man.
Yeah. Like, Drax is, like, very gay for Thor.
Right, he's like looking at it, because Thor still has an eye patch, and he goes, it's like a pirate and an angel had a baby together.
Yeah.
And then Gamora's like rubbing his arms, it's like his muscles are made out of like steel cables or something like that.
Yeah.
And Quill's getting all jealous, like, hey, stop touching his muscles.
He's like, hey, I got muscles, and Rocket's like, come on, you're one sandwich away from fat.
He's like, well, I'm not fat, and then like and Drax is like sort of gesturing towards his chin and his belly, like.
Which is funny because Chris Pratt's like in the best shape he's ever been in his life.
Right,
but
but Drax is trying to point out that he's fat.
It's just funny, everyone razzing on. I mean, that's their team dynamic, is everyone just makes fun of Peter.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, but yeah, and that whole sequence was funny. The sequence with when Star-Lord and Gamora have that touching scene, and Drax is standing there like, dude, how long have you been standing there?
They're like kissing, right? And then you hear this crunch, and they turn to look, and they're eating like some snack out of a bag.
He's like, dude, how long have you been there?
An hour.
He's like, how long have you been standing there? An hour. You've been standing there an hour? It's like, I have mastered the ability of standing very still so that I become invisible. I love Drax, dude. He's so great.
He is.
Like, just that dry delivery he has.
Right.
That Dave Bautista?
Yeah.
That dude, like, everyone was, like, unsure about him.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, everyone's like, okay, he was great as Drax, but, like, Drax has, like, dry delivery and stuff. Like, it's very purposeful that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was fantastic in Blade Runner as well. In that short they did.
Mm-hmm.
So, props to Dave Bautista. Like, he's an excellent actor, and I think he should be in more stuff.
Another joke that was pretty good that was Drax-centric is they're fighting. So, we got Tony Stark and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, and then the Guardians of the Galaxy are fighting Thanos, and Gamora's gone, right? And so Quill's like, "Where is Gamora?"
Oh, no, no, I remember what it was. It was when the Guardians first show up, and they're fighting each other.
Right. Yeah, they're fighting each other, and
Peter.
So they each think that the other group are minions or Thanos, right? And so Quill's like, "Where's Gamora?"
And he says, "Where's Thanos?"
Yeah.
He says, "Where's Thanos?" And Stark opens his helmet, and he's like, "I'll do you one better. Who is Thanos?"
No, it was Gamora.
Was it Gamora?
It was Gamora.
I thought it was Thanos.
I'm pretty sure it was Gamora because no, because Stark already knows who Thanos is.
Oh, okay.
And they both think the other one's working for Thanos. So if he had said, "Where's Thanos?" at that point, he would have stopped the fight.
Yeah, okay.
So Quill saying, "Where is Gamora?" and Stark says, "I got you one better. Who is Gamora?" and Drax says, "I got you one better. Why is Gamora?"
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, I mean, Tony Stark traditionally, like Tony Stark, Quill, like all the Guardians, and then Tony Stark are like traditionally all like the funniest dialogue characters in the movies, and so they're all together.
Oh, when they realize that both groups are working against Thanos, like they're trying to plan, and Quill's like talking about like how he can make a better plan, and Drax like, tell him about your dance off to save the universe. It's like, you had a dance off to save the universe.
Spider-Man goes like Footloose.
Exactly like Footloose. That's still the greatest movie ever made.
Never was. Yeah, that was funny.
Oh, he was awesome. Spider-Man has the Iron Spider suit in this.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That was cool with the extendable spider legs.
Yeah, so that was really neat. And like what I was talking about earlier, where there's like some lines he has during fighting that I'm like, that's too well executed to be a Spider-Man line. Is like, it was funny when he's jumping through the portals that Doctor Strange is creating and hitting Thanos, and he's like, magic, jumps back through, magic with a kick. It's like magic, more magic, magic with a kick. Like, that was really funny. I'm like, that's too funny to be Spider-Man.
Nah, Spider-Man has some gems every once in a while.
But
depends on who's writing them.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can. That's a good segue into your problem with the movie.
So this is a problem I have. Is so they establish at the very beginning of the movie, when they're fighting the aliens who are working for Thanos that first show up. Wong sends one of them using their magic portal abilities, which the movie needed more Wong too. So he opens a portal and drops this alien dude in some tundra somewhere, and like as the dude's like trying to jump back through the portal, he closes it and it cuts his arm off.
Yeah.
So why the hell? There's a part where you got Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, this whole
Tony
sequence
Stark
they're trying to get the gauntlet off of Thanos.
Right, and everyone's like holding Thanos down. At that point, why don't you open a portal, shove his head through, and decapitate him?
Or at the very least, because they're trying to get it was Iron Man and like Drax or something trying to pull the gauntlet off of Thanos' arm. Yeah. Why didn't they just cut his arm off?
Yeah.
They could have just cut his arm off. And then, boom, the gauntlet's off of Thanos, right?
Right.
And it's only a left-handed gauntlet. Thanos could never put it on again anyway. Right?
Was the gauntlet in the dwarf place a right-handed one? The matching gauntlet?
I don't know. I didn't get a good look at it.
What if that comes up?
It looked like it might have just been a mold for the gauntlet. I don't know.
Maybe.
It was like different color.
I mean,
I don't know.
If it was a mold, it was the negative for it.
Yeah.
Because it looked like the gauntlet.
Yeah, that's true.
So what if that comes up?
They should have swapped it with the fake gauntlet from Asgard.
Oh yeah. No, but what if that's another Infinity Gauntlet? Thanos only needed the one, so he only took the one, and there's another Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Well, I think Kevin Feige said there's multiple Infinity Gauntlets.
Oh man.
Because someone asked about it, it had popped up in one of the movies, and I think Feige said that there's multiple Infinity Gauntlets.
And you know what's crazy about that? There's only one of the Avengers with a hand big enough to wield it.
The Hulk?
Yeah. Could you imagine the
Hulk? Who's being a big green asshole. So, throughout, most of the movie, Bruce Banner's trying to get the Hulk to emerge, but he won't. He's just like, no, when he tries, and he's like, oh, come on, you big green asshole!
Yeah. So, I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Because at the end of this, Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet is destroyed.
Yeah.
The power that he unleashed to kill half of the universe destroyed the gauntlet. The stones are still there, but the gauntlet's just this blackened, twisted piece of metal.
Yeah. So,
because the dwarves that made the dwarf that made the hammer, he made the gauntlet for Thanos.
This Thanos was threatened to kill all the dwarves if he didn't do it.
Right, and then Thanos went and killed all the dwarves anyway.
Except for him.
As a reward for making the gauntlet for him.
Yeah.
Because Thanos isn't totally unreasonable.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, in his own mind, he's that's him being reasonable and merciful.
Yeah.
Right? So Thanos, he wants to destroy one half of all life, all sentient or sapient life, I guess.
The universe is overpopulated.
Because he figures the universe is overpopulated. There's a finite amount of resources. If there were only half the people in the universe, there'd be enough resources.
For everyone to live comfortably.
For everyone to live comfortably for the rest of eternity, as long as the population is controlled. And so that's his plan, is to do that. So in his own mind, he is helping the universe.
It's very, almost Hitler of him.
Yeah.
Except he's not targeting, anyone in particular, but, his justifications to himself for some of the arguments Hitler had for eugenics.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's what we were talking about earlier with, character development of Thanos and, not seeing himself as a villain. He doesn't think he's evil. The worst villains are the ones who know they're evil. It's Steppenwolf.
Worst is in not good.
Yeah, worst is in, not entertaining.
Not entertaining, yeah.
Steppenwolf is a bad villain because he's evil. He knows he's evil.
Right.
I'm going to keep picking on Steppenwolf, by the way. It's a terrible fucking character.
Well, another thing he did, because to retrieve the Soul Stone, you have to sacrifice something you love. And Gamora starts taunting him you don't love anything, so how are you going to get the Soul Stone? Well, he did love Gamora.
Thanks, Adobe Creative Cloud.
It happens every time, dude.
It's every time we're recording or streaming.
And so he turns on her, and then he's crying because he does love Gamora as a daughter, but he sacrifices her.
And like Red Skull realizes what's going on too. Like he starts crying, and Gamora's like, "Really, a tear?"
Yeah, she's taunting him like she thinks he's crying because he can't retrieve the Soul Stone.
Go away, Adobe. Jeez.
Yeah, she thinks he's crying because he can't retrieve the Soul Stone. Really, he's crying because he knows he has to kill Gamora.
Yeah.
And
even Red Skull's like, he's not. The tear isn't for him.
Right, and so he chucks her off a cliff, and she dies, and he gets the Soul Stone. But don't worry, because at least in the comics, when that same sort of thing happens, you're just inside the Soul Stone.
Now the question is, does that just create a Soul Stone? Does he have could someone else now go to that cliff, chuck off their wife or their daughter?
I don't know.
And what if the Soul Stone is really big or something, and so it just sort of creates a Soul Stone?
Well, in the current run of the comics, the Power Stone, I think, when it was recreated in the universe, because they were all destroyed, but it was recreated, the universe recreated it. It's like 40 feet tall. It's massive. It's a huge stone, and everyone's like, "Well, how are we gonna
wield that?"
Yeah. Right? But if you had the Reality Stone, you could probably shrink it.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway.
Yeah,
but yeah, and so there's that, and so later he has this vision where Gamora as a child comes to him in this vision. Says, "Well, did you do it?" And he says, "Yeah." "Well, what did it cost you?" "Everything."
Yeah.
And he's still sad over.
Yeah.
It kind of destroyed him a little bit. It broke him a little bit to have to kill Gamora.
Yeah. When he also was upset by losing his favorite henchman.
Yeah, guy looked like a Tau.
Yeah, can we address that for a second? That guy looked exactly like a Tau ethereal from
with the tan though
from Warhammer. Well, he looked like he was maybe dirty.
Yeah.
But he looked so much like a Tau ethereal from Warhammer 40,000. You can pop up an image here or something if you remember to do that when you're editing.
Yeah. Maybe a side by side or something.
That
guy was pretty cool though. I kind of liked him as a character.
He's a pretty good villainous henchman. I liked him as a character. Yeah.
The other two,
Yeah,
they weren't bad, but they're just kind of okay.
They were generic.
Yeah, they're pretty generic, but this guy was pretty cool.
This dude had character. The other ones were just I'm good at hitting things with an axe.
Yeah.
And I happen to work for Thanos.
Or I'm good at stabbing things with a knife. I happen to work for Thanos.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy was he has this telekinetic powers.
Mm-hmm.
Really powerful telekinetic powers.
Which is why it's more proof that he's an ethereal.
Right, and he just floats around everywhere, and he's pretty menacing, and he's got a great voice.
What if this was Marvel Studios' way of saying, "Guess you got a 40K movie license"? We probably would have heard about it.
Yeah, that would happen.
That'd be really cool, though.
Anyway, so
yeah, it's.
I don't know how much we could probably just go on and on talking about our favorite parts of the movie and things that were.
Well, I already talked about my favorite part was Thor, Rocket, and Groot's Bifrost entrance into the big fight at the end.
Yeah,
they should have brought the dwarf with them. That would have been cool. Just have him punching dudes with his big metal hands.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about you wanted to see because Banner was wearing the Hulkbuster armor. And you're I want to see him wade through there Saruman.
Yeah, I wanted to.
Or Sauron.
Yeah, I was I want to see Banner in the Hulkbuster suit just wade into this tide of enemies like Sauron at the beginning of Lord of the Rings. He kind of did. Yeah, except Cap and Black Panther were having a race off to get there, and we're Olympic sprinters into the fray.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that. So anyway, you'd mentioned I had mentioned earlier that T'Challa's sister becomes Black Panther, and you're I don't think they'll do that. But Black Panther's gone. He was one of the half that were killed, that were destroyed. So what if in the next movie, she is, because the Black Panther is the ruler of the country.
Right. So she's next in line for the throne, presumably.
Yeah. So what if she becomes the next Black Panther? At least until they get T'Challa back, because I'm pretty convinced at the second Infinity War movie, they're going to bring not everyone back to life, but everyone that had disappeared.
Yeah. Because
of Thanos, the people that disappeared when Thanos killed half the...
Yeah, the people who died when he snapped his fingers.
Right.
The people who died along the way, like, Loki
dies and comes back all the time.
Yeah, but if they intend for him to be dead, he's probably not going to come back.
But here's the thing, though. In the comics, I say he dies and comes back all the time in the comics. In the comics, the Norse gods are actually gods.
Right.
In the movies, they're just nearly immortal, super strong aliens.
Yeah.
That humans worshipped as gods.
Right.
So Loki may actually be dead.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know. But at the very least, I think everyone that like crumbled to dust when Thanos snapped his fingers, will be back. Because we lost Black Panther, we lost almost all the Guardians of the Galaxy except for
Rocket. Rocket's the only one left. Well, Gamora's trapped in the Soul Stone.
Presumably trapped in the Soul Stone.
Wait, yeah, Mantis disappeared, didn't she?
Yes, I think Mantis disappeared. Star-Lord disappeared. Drax disappeared.
Groot
disappeared. So I think Rocket's all that's left. Spider-Man disappeared.
Falcon disappeared.
Bucky.
Doctor Strange.
Bucky.
They still have Scarlet Witch. No, she disappeared.
No, she disappeared too. And so basically all that's left...
Widow?
Yeah, I think she's still around. So basically all that's left is Captain America, Iron Man, Rocket...
Did War Machine disappear? Don Cheadle?
No, he's still there, but Falcon did disappear.
Right.
Yeah. I made a comment because War Machine's the only black guy to live.
Yeah, well, and I made a comment to you about how, like, yeah, I was like, you know, like, do you think that Cap will be Captain America again? And you were like, you know, and I was like, or when Bucky disappeared, I was like, well, who would be Captain America now? And you were like, well, Falcon became Captain America in the comics. Then Falcon disappeared. I was like,
oh, never.
Well, I guess that's right out the window.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've got Bruce Banner.
Yes, we got Bruce Banner / the Hulk, if he ever decides to stop being a big green asshole. Captain America,
Iron Man,
Rocket Raccoon, War Machine.
Yep.
I don't remember if Scarlet Witch...
I'm pretty sure she disappeared.
Okay.
Vision
died.
Yeah, most likely he's dead.
And they ripped the stone out of his head.
Yeah. I mean, they might be able to pull something out where he's alive, because they were
he was not the same. That's probably what they'll do, is they might be able to, like, oh, he's alive, but he's not the same person.
And doesn't have any of the powers.
Right. He doesn't have, like, or he just... It would be heartbreaking, but I think that's what they would do, because he would, like, not be the person that, like, Scarlet Witch fell in love with.
Right.
And so he wouldn't have any of that personality or anything. I could see where they might pull that. I don't know. But, did Thor disappear?
No, Thor's alive.
Thor's alive? Okay.
Thor's alive. We don't know the outcome of Hawkeye and Ant-Man.
No, we don't. I knew when it happened. I knew that for two reasons that Tony Stark would live. One is because Thanos said to him, "I respect you, and I'm going to let you live, and I hope your people remember you," or something like that.
Yeah.
So Tony Stark impressed Thanos enough that I knew he wouldn't be one of them. But also, there's a thing. There's a part where Doctor Strange uses the Time Stone to look into possible futures and see the outcomes, and he looks through, like, it was 14 million or something like that. But there's one where they do it, and he says, there's one where they succeed, and so he had been going on and on repeatedly throughout the movie that the Time Stone was his only concern. If it became between saving the Time Stone or anyone else, he would choose the Time Stone. But he gave up the Time Stone to save Tony Stark, which tells me Tony Stark has to be alive in the scenario where they win.
Because before, as he's disappearing, Strange says like, it was the only way, or something like that.
Right.
And he
says he says it's the end game.
He says it was the only way. We're in the end game now.
Right. And so that tells me that Stark is key to the one victory that Doctor Strange saw.
Yeah. I would see that. Also, the way he presented the Time Stone, pulled it out, that was really cool.
That was really cool. He just like he holds his fingers apart, like an inch apart, and the Time Stone just sort of like grows into existence there.
Well, there was a light in the background.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, there was a little like a star or something, like a little light or a star on the horizon, like in the background, and he like puts his fingers like
you're squishing a head.
Yeah, like he's like framing it, and then like the Time Stone just sort of grows out of that star.
Just like swells out of that star. Yeah, that was a really cool effect.
Yeah, that was.
Well, everything with Doctor Strange was a really cool effect.
Right, Doctor Strange, just visually is one of the best.
Visually stunning.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I mean that's Thanos succeeds. All looks grim and lost, and
yeah, Thanos. He had said like
Nick
when
Fury disappeared.
Yeah, when Thanos had said when he succeeds, he's going to retire and relax, and he does. He has like this little like house like on this hill overlooking like a river and stuff. Or he's just sitting there like relaxed, and that's like where it ends. And then like the post-credit scene is Nick Fury's in the car with Agent, I forget her name.
Yeah.
Suddenly, but and then like this car like crashes in front of them because the driver had disappeared, and then she disappears. Her Agent, what's her name, disappears, and then he pulls out this like transmitter thing, and then he disappears, and like, oh
yeah,
and then it falls on the ground, and like Captain Marvel's emblem appears on the screen of the transmitter.
So does that imply that Captain Marvel will take place after the events of Infinity War?
I think maybe at least part, because you're gonna need some of it's gonna have to be an origin story, which is gonna have to be before that.
Yeah.
But then maybe the rest of it's in between, or who knows? Or maybe the whole thing's origin story, and then
we're assuming Ant-Man and Wasp takes place before Infinity War.
Yeah,
just judging by the trailers, because like half the population doesn't disappear, and then people like go on about normal shit.
Right.
That doesn't work that way.
I was saying probably a lot of people think it was the Rapture or something.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, so I think we've pretty well covered this movie. We've gone for over an hour on it. Told you it'd be a long one.
It's pretty good though.
I'm confident we are going to see it again in theaters.
Yeah, I was concerned a while back, but then I was like, well, if anyone's going to pull it off, it's going to be the Russos, because I've been very impressed with the other work they've done for Marvel, and I think they might be able to pull it off, and they managed to and do things just right, and it's a really good movie.
Yeah. So coming up next 2 weeks is basically nothing, because around, especially the bigger Marvel movies and Star Wars movies, usually like the 1 or 2 weeks before and after, there's nothing, because nobody wants to compete with that.
Well, Disney actually moved the Avengers up a week because they didn't want it crowding Solo.
Yeah. So, but for people who because most people, they see a movie once in a while. We see movies every week, so to us it sucks.
Yeah,
it's like I would love to go from Avengers into Solo. They would still get my money regardless. They could come out on the same weekend, and I would just walk out back to the ticket booth, buy a ticket, and go back into the theater.
Yeah,
but that's just how we are, and I get that.
Most people aren't like that.
We're an exception in that way, so it sucks for us because there's nothing for the next 2 weeks.
Well, I mean, some places it's so expensive to go to the movies. People are like, "Well, I can afford to go to a movie once a month."
Yeah,
or something. So
screw living in those places.
Yeah, especially if you got like a big family or something, you gotta pay for.
But we don't have to deal with that. So in 3 weeks, it's Deadpool 2. That is the next thing we're likely to review.
Mm-hmm.
That movie looks fantastic. I am Wow, I'm reading this synopsis here on IMDb for it. It's pretty great. We'll get back to that in a minute, Nolan. Like when we're done with this.
All right.
And then the week after that's Solo. So 2 weeks of nothing, and then 2 weeks of big stuff. Big for us. So
Yeah.
And then trying to see what is even coming up after that. Are we seeing Ocean's 8?
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, there's nothing else coming out that week. We're definitely seeing Incredibles 2 in June.
Yeah, and Tag.
And Tag looks funny. I'm excited to see Tag. Are we seeing Jurassic World?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh god, it doesn't look good. Yeah. And then we'll see what's happening. We might end up seeing Sicario. I don't know. Sort of depends on what's going on. But that's what we got coming up for movies. We are continuing to stream Jack 2. Is this going up tomorrow?
Maybe.
So tomorrow night, probably. Sunday night. We're continuing our stream of Jack 2. And we'll have better audio this time, I promise. And then that's over on our Twitch, twitch.tv/everything_is_bad. We stream there most Sundays in the evenings. Check that out over there. And then check out our other movie reviews and other stuff we got going on here on our YouTube channel. So,
Yep, all that.
all that jazz. Until next time, thanks for listening. Hope you didn't get raptured by Thanos. The gauntleting.
The gauntleting.
There's gotta be a name for that event. Right?
Yeah, the next event.
Yeah. Because there's the event, which was aliens attacking New York City,
Yeah.
led by Loki.
Then there's the next.
Oh, that was really cool too at the very beginning, when Thanos is saying something about calls like Loki an Asgardian and like says he's gonna die and stuff. He's like, for one, I'm not Asgardian. And two, we have a Hulk, and the Hulk smashes him
Yeah,
to the
we have a
side.
Hulk.
That was so great. It's like a nice callback
Yeah.
to Avengers. So,
Yep.
But anyway, yeah. So check out all the stuff we got going on. We see a lot of movies. We like talking about movies. It's kind of our thing.
Yep. Because we're gonna be doing it anyway. We might as well do it in front of you guys.
Yeah. So till next time. Thanks for listening.
So long.
Toodles.